Pronation versus supination in the throw. Topic we get questions on almost daily here. That's our video today. What is excessive pronation? What is excessive supination? And a lot of people have actually been asking about excessive pronation away from the target, which is interesting because anecdotally what we see in a clinical scenario most often, most of those athletes end up supinating out and around their body as they throw versus excessive pronation. But it's an interesting topic, and here's why. Because we see athletes who take the ball out of the glove with excessive pronation, meaning turning the ball this way, and so they have nowhere else to go. And when you go to the end of your range of motion in any one direction, where do you have? You have nowhere else except for to supinate. And so athletes end up supinating from a pronated position as they come through, which leads to them putting their UCL in an unstable position. So what you see all the time is this: athletes take the ball out here and they go this way, and then they cast it out and around as they throw the ball. And it's not a healthy position for the UCL, because the least stable position for the elbow is in supination. We've had different comments on this, some more confrontational than others. I mean, we've even had some chemistry professor who thinks he's a pitching mechanics professor trying to talk about supination in the throw. Ultimately, what it comes down to is where the arm is positioned and how you move through the throw when you come through. So you can have one athlete who's in a fair amount of pronation and another athlete who's in a little more supination, and they both may have the same amount of strain on the ligament itself because of their individual anatomical variance. To put a blanket statement out there that every athlete should throw in a certain way is not understanding the variation in anatomy from person to person. So what we would say is, when you come through the throw and you get to that internal rotation apex of the throw, you should be biased into pronation. You're not at the end range of your pronation, and you're certainly not into a supination moment, but you're biased into pronation. That's going to put the elbow in the most stable position so that as you throw the baseball, your elbow can withstand the loads better. We know that once you get into a higher amount of supination, the elbow becomes less stable. So then the question is, how do you work on it? Nice and easy. If you're an athlete that's too pronated coming out of the glove, you just start working on taking the ball out, or even starting with more supination at the bottom position of the throw. And without twisting, you just throw from there. So we'll go through a few different drills here really quickly, and then we'll go through a few where you can start, if you're somebody that's a little bit too supinated, to make sure that you find the correct amount of supination or pronation that maximizes your elbow stability but increases your ball velocity. For those athletes that take the ball out too pronated and end up here, what we like to do to start is have them start in some position on their lift with a little bit of supination and maintain that. Don't let it twist, and let them throw from there. So we work on that, and then we can take it out of the glove with the focus of making the ball face your thigh as you take the ball out of the glove, as opposed to letting the ball face back towards the second baseman, for example, for a pitcher. If you're an athlete who tends to, excessively supinate and wrap as you come through, we just take you close to the position where the fault happens. It's not rocket science. Go to the position where you start to break down your mechanics, and then put yourself in a better position and start from there. And that's how we start working on these things. So if you're somebody that starts to cast out and around, go right before that. Make a good throw from there. If you're somebody that has an error in the way that you take the ball out of the glove, go to that position. Try to correct the fault there. That's going to help 75% of athletes. That last 25%, or maybe even 50%, depending on how involved it is going to need some more professional help. And that's why we're here at the Overhead Athletic Institute. And that's why we're always open to help as many athletes as we possibly can and provide this free information for you guys. So if you like this video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you in the next one.